Hello and welcome. It is 6 o'clock and it is Thursday. So, welcome to the 6 o'clock club. I'm Andy from Twisted Narrative here. I always have to concentrate on what day it is. At least I know what time it is. I've been all at sorts this week, thinking that I'm one day behind, thinking that today is Friday. It's not Friday, is it? Thinking yesterday was Thursday. And boy, have I had a busy day today, a very productive one, I'm pleased to say. Hello there, Kyle. Thanks for shouting up in the old chat there. Let's just raise that up a bit. Hello, Solo. Your comments are coming up on the chat stream as well, which is lovely to see. Welcome both of you. If anybody else is in chat, shout out. Yeah, so I was saying it's been a strange week. Lots of things happening, lots of work to be done, and it feels like today is the pinnacle of that, and it's all downhill from here on in. So it's a fairly relaxed 6 o'clock club today. We were meant to have a special guest, Adam. Unfortunately, Adam has had to reschedule due to the fact he can't make it tonight. Very much fingers crossed he can reschedule sometime next week and we'll have a chat with Adam. A big role player, someone I've known for a very long time, and I think it'll be fairly insightful to have a conversation with him. So instead, we're going to do what we normally do, really. First and foremost, we're going to talk about last night's game. Then we'll talk about tonight's game, but then there's a special announcement. I've already made a Shadowdark chat about the special announcement, and I kind of hinted at it on Monday 6 o'clock club as well about a West Marches style of game that we are launching, and I've kind of pulled all of the details together in my own head about that. We've got a title for it now and how it's going to function and how we're going to reach out globally. I'm going to be putting myself sort of offering to run games in what would be unsociable UK hours, but sociable global hours elsewhere. But we'll come on to that in a moment or so. So last night was Wednesday, and Wednesday we had the following game on, which was terrific fun. Wednesday was Fortunes Untold. There was Fliss, Roz, James. It should have been Adrian, but he was feeling a little under the weather, so just the three players. Even so, they managed to skillfully navigate through Riptide Cove, very carefully avoiding a Mero encounter, using all of their skills available to them as they conquered through. Hello, Jack. Thanks for shouting up there. Good to see you in chat as well. Then they encountered some strange kind of seaweed that could easily have ripped them apart had they not noticed it. It was kind of razored along one side. They managed to bypass that, and then they discovered a landside as the temperature in the water was rising as they were searching for liquid sun. And then battle ensued against swarms of quippers, these small piranha fish, and Roz's character Granite did not bode particularly well there. They've eventually made it close to where they believe the liquid sun is being held in this sunken and flooded cave system. But there is a final final threat. This mutated two-headed shark swimming around the cave. They retreated a little bit. They started preparing themselves, and that was the cliffhanger that we ended the session on. Will they defeat this threat? And if they do, will they ever find the liquid sun? So big shout out to the 3 players that were there last night. It was very much a pleasure to be involved in this one. Some beautiful role playing, some great tactics, um, and actively choosing how they approached each encounter. It was a pleasure to behold, really, and I'm looking forward to them sort of completing this sort of sideline quest so they can carry on. It's not really a side quest, it is part of the main story arc. So they can get aid from Peggy, uh, this old hag that seems to have the ability to bottle entire ships, real ships, in a bottle. We'll see how that goes on next session, 2 weeks' time. Then we move to tonight's games. Tonight's game is, there we go, Icebreakers. Icebreakers. 2 weeks ago, we had the 3rd anniversary of this game. Been going on fortnightly for 3 years now. And we have Jack and Joe, M, Sarah, James, Michael and James in it. About 12th-ish level now. Is that correct, Jack? 12th level. But I've been very generous with magic items in this game, because I wanted it to have that epic superhero feel that you can sort of replicate with 5e very, very well. And they're definitely punching above their level at the moment. They are attempting to aid M's character, Flo, a Goliath barbarian that was raised by gnomes, uncover an heirloom, a red gem that seems to be able to bestow wishes, not witches, wishes. They have located the tower of the individual, an elf beggar, once was anyway, that appeared to have the gem. His name is Sweaty Sealan. Unfortunately, then they had to find an entry into the tower. They were accosted by 2 living Bigsby's hand spells, made into constructs. They fairly easily defeated those, but as they did, they could feel there was a chill in the tower, and slurping down, kind of like living slurpees, were 2 ice elementals. So that is where we'll be starting it today, I believe. Kyle has said, now you just need to award extra attunement slots. Jack says, that sounds like a good idea, Kyle. I'll double that sentiment. I mean, it gets to the point where, I mean, you're super powered anyway. Would extra attunement slots really make a difference? I'm not entirely sure it make a difference to me running the games. You can do even greater and more crazy stuff, I suppose. I don't know. In high powered games, maybe you're right, and I'm not saying that sarcastically. Maybe we should tear up the rules, throw the book away, and go with what we think feels right. I mean, in many ways, they've created. This is with the Coast the Artificer. As they level up, you get more attunement slots. And in my mythical campaign, because it is a very, very high magic campaign, I've already kind of put that into the rules. So who knows? Maybe I can be persuaded. How about a magical item that when you attune to it, it gives you an attunement slot? I mean, that sounds good. Would anybody like one of those? I mean, shout up if you want to purchase one of those magical items. I think that sounds like a perfect answer to this solution. So it'd be interesting to see how it works. What's that? The magical item or the concept of just more achievement slots? Oh, I've had a very long day. Oh, excuse my grunting. Okay, so I've already made a video on this, the Shadowdark video, because we are launching a new sort of campaigns. Kyle says both. Okay, well, I'm sure there's a Fey NPC I tend to use quite a lot called Roper. I'm sure he can sell you a magical amulet that takes an attunement slot. You need to attune to it, but when you attune to it, it gives you an attunement slot back. Let's see how you can break that. So Eisen Faust is what I'm about to say to you. Why Eisen Faust? Why am I speaking these strange German words in a sort of brummy tone? Well, Eisen Faust is this new Shadowdark campaign setting. A West Marshes like Mythical that I'm about to launch this Sunday. We've got a few players on the Sunday morning one, and we're going to be doing a few, maybe an evening one as well. I did mention it at the start of the week. I've kind of tweaked it. It was originally going to be the Halls of the Idiot God. We still will have that location, but I kind of wanted to build on some ideas that I've had for a very long time, and I wanted to give it some bones and put flesh upon the bones. So I delved deep. I've ran Eisen Faust before for 5th Ed. It's a very dark, low fantasy setting, which is going to very much suit Shadowdark's feel. The strapline is the Dark Ages just got darker, which I do like. And it's a Shadowdark West Marches style of game. I say style because it's not going to be directly akin to a full-on West Marches game. There'll be one-shot sessions, so 3 hours as usual, start, middle, and end. I've done this many times now, running kind of the opposite of this, which is the very high fantasy mythical realm that I run. They will be loosely tiered as well to levels. As before, you only gain experience for the games you participate in, and there'll be no specific schedule of events. They'll be scheduled or sort of put on when there's a demand for one and regular campaigns fail to fire. I am, though, as I have said before, looking to run some of these in more convenient time zones for people not in the UK. For a while now, I've been thinking hard about the hours that everybody's asleep in the UK, but the rest of the world is awake, and I don't have a problem perhaps running one or two, maybe more games during the week, basically in the middle of the night UK time, but at a much more sensible time for other regions. Unlike normal West Marches style of games, though, there will be interconnected plot throughout the adventures, and there will be links so the characters and the players can communicate about the adventures they've been on, and the things that they found and the information they found out. In terms of setting, though, It's gonna feature an overzealous church trying to extinguish the flame of free thought. Um, this sort of religious institution, known as the Church of the All-Father, dominates the civilized world. They put into practice through religion what can and can't be done. They make the laws. There are knights of the church. There are all sorts of watchers out there to look out for anything that goes against the tenets of the All-Father. Arcane magics will be outlawed. Any form of sin is a crime and is most likely punishable by death. It's going to be a very harsh sort of setting. Magic does work though, as per the Shadowdark rules. Um, but even worse, as horrific as the lands of the church are, um, there is the Badlands beyond the realm of the church, a warped landscape full of dangers, also scattered with many lost treasures. Um, the characters, they will start their adventures in a certain location called Beggar's Roost, an encampment of free thinkers, of outcasts, of scum and villainy, as far as the church are concerned anyway. And the question is, will the characters seek to regain the embrace of the All-Father, or will they prefer to seek fortune, unearthing lost artifacts from amongst the horrors of the Badlands? Um, Absolutely, Kyle. Very similar to Borgengast. In fact, Borgengast will be one of the big church locations. So it's very much going to have kind of that feel, but it is assumed that many of the characters will be spending their time away from the church lands and investigating the Badlands, basically, dungeon delving, fighting these strange warped creatures, and perhaps searching for answers. Maybe uh, maybe the church is not all that it seems, and clues can be found, obviously hidden within the church lands, but maybe answers lie within the Badlands. And there will be some of these free thinkers that are searching for clues to how this society has developed. What sorcery have you used to look at your DM ideas and concepts notebook? We think so much alike. Well, it's great to see, Solo. It really is great to see. If other people are thinking in a similar sort of ways, it means that maybe, just maybe, I'm on the right track. Eisenfaust, though, has been in the works for a very long time, dating back perhaps almost 2 decades. I used to run it as a live action role play. Um, and then, as Kyle have just said here, I've taken parts of it and put it into other gaming systems as well. Borgengast being one of the big cities of the church lands. But I think very much the low fantasy, the darkness that Shadowdark gives us absolutely shouts out to this setting, and it's going to be quite a perfect fit. One could say the velvet glove over the iron fist. Eisenfaust meaning iron fist in German for the grip that the church has upon its populace. So if you've got any questions, feel free to sort of shout out. Magic will exist. There'll be divine magic, and the church will be using that. Although you need to be a church member to display such things. So you can be kind of sort of clerics that have received their divine gifts from perhaps other gods or other sources, or from the All-Father themselves, but they have been ousted politically from the church. Arcane magics exist as well. Of course, you are hunted by the church and the Inquisition if you show any kind of sign of being able to do that. Um, the races exist as well. This is an important thing. And all of the races, provided they fall in with the doctrinations of the church, are absolutely fine in the society as a whole. The All-Father does not judge ancestries, only devotions. So I've tried to make it as open as possible, and the outlawing of various things is there, not to cut at the Achilles heels of the characters, but to create content and drama and to drive the game forward. So I'm very much looking for it. I say we've got the very first game that is going to launch Sunday morning of this, and hopefully we'll get a Sunday evening game going as well. And then as we creep forward into April, I'll be opening it up as I say, unscheduled game sessions, including if we can get enough either players in the US time zones or the Australian time zones to come together, and we'll open up some sessions there as well. Once again, being completely transparent, running games is what I do for a living, so there is a ticket price to the table, as it were, really. But we've got a community of people that already do that, and to people that already sort of play my games, they hopefully certainly get their money's worth. So I'm very, very excited about it. I'm going to be launching some extra bits of information about Eisenfaust on our YouTube videos over the next few days and few weeks as well. Kyle has said, is a Mazim behind the brainwashing? Well, who knows? I mean, that would be the irony of it all, really, in the fact that Mazim in the rules of Shadowdark is I think already becoming a bit of an iconic villain NPC. But he's a mage, so if he's behind the brainwashing and then saying all magic is outlawed, I mean, that would mean he would have no competition. I like your thinking there, Kyle. I like your thinking. Solo says, I too have made magic illegal in the due of my setting. To complicate things, spells are tattooed on magic users' bodies, covering up essential. Some parts of covering up is essential in some parts of the world. Yeah, I love it. I think it adds an extra element, and then when you are down in the shadow dark, you can reveal yourselves for who you truly are and unleash your powers. I think it's going to be fun. As I say, I've got the world setting bang to rights here. I've tweaked a few things, but we'll be drawing on a lot of my own homebrew content and plot rather than drawing in things from other sources. But I will cherry pick anything that I see that I think is absolute sort of workable. It's going to be exciting times. Firstly, to play this, but secondly, to revisit this terrifyingly place called Eisenfaust. Jack, I'm not sure. I think the Shadowdark rules technically The quick start rules should be on the Kickstarter page, but the Kickstarter finished earlier today, so I'm not entirely certain they are still up. But you might be able to go to the Arcane Library's website and find them on there. I would imagine they've still got the quick start rules up somewhere. We're waiting. It won't be till mid-April we get the cool rules sent out to us. I kickstarted it myself, but it's a very very rules light system. I'll be able to send you quite a lot of information about that, Jack, if you're interested in having a look. It kind of flips the concept of um, superhero high fantasy and makes it more grim, dirty, and threatening. But of course, it will have twisted narratives, twist or take on it. And I do want these to be challenging, but also I want them to be survivable if you do the right things. So it's not a meat grinder. I've ran meat grinders. I enjoy running meat grinders. I don't think there's anything wrong with meat grinders, but meat grinders is me signaling, look, bring a number of characters. This is going to be tough. Characters will die. That is the concept of the game. Here, it's tough, but it's not a meat grinder. Characters might die. Um, their survivability is substantially less than a 5e type game. But that said, if you do the right things, you'll be fine. You'll be absolutely fine. My desire is to create stories with you, the players, and not just to kill, characters. And I have to make sure I do say characters rather than players there. It is often a mistake. Okay, so yeah, I mean, it'll be fantastic if you can join in, Jack. I've known Jack for a very long time. An excellent player, an excellent addition. Um, and it's a different feel. I think, and I've done this quite a lot in the past. Sometimes, and I'm going to kind of give an example here. If you're playing kind of fifth edition and you jump into another game and it's perhaps Pathfinder second edition, it makes you think. I'd rather be playing fifth edition rather than Pathfinder second edition. Or if you're in a Pathfinder second edition game and you jump into a 5e game, you kind of think I'd rather be playing in a Pathfinder second edition game because they are very similar beasts. I mean, you can argue mechanically there's different mechanically, but both really represent relatively high fantasy game systems. But making a jump to something that has a radically different feel means you don't feel like, oh, I wished I was doing fifth edition version of this because it's completely different. It gives you a fresh perspective, and one of them is not better than the other. It's just different taste. I suppose, yeah, bringing in the food analogy, if you have one burger compared to a different burger, they are both burgers, and you kind of go, well, actually, I prefer my favourite type of burger to this burger. This and Fifth Ed are different. It's the difference between having a pizza and a burger. You know, um, I told you that I've had a very long day. I'm talking about pizzas and burgers now. I hope this is making some kind of sense. All I can say, icebreakers, is look very much to a caffeine fueled frenzy from me in about 30 minutes time. It's gonna be amazing. Absolutely. I come up with such strange analogies. Who knows? So I think that's about it, really. Tomorrow night we have Collateral Damage on, and I think if I'm right in remembering, Kyle, are you joining us on the stream tomorrow night, Friday? What we'll be doing is we'll talk about tonight's icebreakers game. We'll talk about all of the weekend games, and I might have created a few more kind of visuals for Eyes and Faust, maybe a layout of Beggar's Roost or something for you to feast your eyes upon. Um, in the meantime, then, I think it's 6:30. Thank you very much, Kyle. So Kyle will be with us tomorrow as well, so more things to chat about. Thank you very much for your company again. Thank you for listening to me ramble on about pizzas and burgers. I hope no one's hungry. If you are, you can go and get yourself some food now. I know I'm certainly am before my icebreakers game. Have the best rest of the evening, and very much I hope I will catch you all tomorrow at 6 o'clock. For now, goodbye from me. Take care. Be good to each other.